Hi, it's Elisa, resident foodie and hoarder. It's 30 days of Thanksgiving and you are looking at turkey dressing. This was my grandmother's recipe, and follow along and I will show you how to do it. Okay, y'all, I'm just going to bring you along on another late night video. Here I'm going to try to make my grandmother's dressing. I'm going to make my grandmother's dressing the way that my mom made it. And so, I put my head together with my me mama, which is my mom's mom, and my aunt. And, we've all kind of came up with what we think to be my grandmother's recipe as far as like her ingredients go. None of us know any measurements or anything like that, but I'm actually going to do it the way that my mom did it, the best that I can recall. If you follow my channel, you know that my mom, as well as my dad, passed away last year, and so I don't know where the paper is. I do have a shopping list or a grocery list piece of paper that I can totally visualize that I wrote some specifics about this recipe down that I had actually in a conversation with my mom, and I can't find it, so at some point I'm going to find that piece of paper, and if it ends up being totally different than what I do today, I may make a new video, but we'll see. And so I'm just gonna go from memory here and we'll see how it turns out. I guess I should start by saying that all of this here was done a couple of days ago. So I made some cornbread and crumbled all that up. And then this is also a loaf of whole wheat bread that I cut up into cubes. And then Raina helped for a little bit breaking it up, but then I ended up putting it in my food processor. And I actually wasn't all that pleased with the results of the food processor, but I wish all of it was like super fine like that. I don't like big chunks in my dressing. So, but anyway, this is how it's going to go. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to be doing tonight is chopping up some celery, and this is how much celery I'm using. I have already used some of this, so it's not like complete. I'm just using what's left. I'm not going to be using the leafy parts. I save all that and put it in the Ziploc bag in my freezer to make vegetable stock with. See, veggie scraps. Okay, so the next ingredient that I'm going to be going to is onions, and if I had fresh onions or wanted to deal with fresh onions, I would probably use two white onions. That's probably what I would go with, but I don't really keep onions in the house because I'm actually not a super big fan of onions, except for green onions. I do like green onions, and so I'm going to be using my freeze-dried chopped onions. Okay, so being the non-onion lover that I am, I have changed my mind, and I'm going to just use the equivalent of one onion. So because I'm going to saute the celery, and if I had fresh onion, I would be sauteing it with the celery as well, I'm going to go ahead and put some water in this and refresh this and saute it along with the celery. And those of you who have watched my pantry videos, I always put a little star right here on my opened cans. That way I know just by looking at it on my shelf that it's opened. Okay, and so I'm just going to add some water in with this, let that sit a few minutes. So I have some butter melting here in a large saucepan, and what I did was I just took the leftover butter that was in my butter dish and then about half of another stick, so probably 5-ish tablespoons. Now I'm just going to let that melt, and then I'm going to put the celery and onion in there. Okay, I'm just adding the celery and onions now. Okay, and so I don't want anything to be like browned or crispy. I just want everything to start getting that kind of clear look. I want to go ahead and get the celery softened. Now, I'm not really exactly sure how my mom did it, but I know me mama told me that she has done it both ways as far as putting the onions and the celery in raw, and then she's also sauteed it. I felt like me having not made the dressing, but one other time I kind of felt like that it would serve me better to go ahead and saute it that way. I could get a better taste of it when I'm trying to guess how much seasonings to put in. So I'm just gonna mix that all around and make sure the butter gets all over. I called it quits on the on the onion and celery there. I'm just gonna put them in as is. The celery is starting to get It definitely doesn't have like the crunchy crunch to it anymore. Okay, and then what you can see a little bit of on the camera view is the turkey breast that I had in the oven just came out, and part of this turkey breast, once I get some of it shredded, is going to also go into our dressing. Okay, sorry, it might be super loud because I just gave my toddlers Legos, so I'm going to dump all the breadcrumbs in here. This is what I'm going to be baking everything in. I hope it all will fit properly. This is what I think I'm baking it in, right guys? I'm going to add the celery and the onion, and I eventually am going to be mixing all of this together, but I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of seasonings first. I definitely know that poultry seasoning is in here, and I definitely know that there is a little bit of sage in here. And then, of course, salt and pepper, but I actually am not going to be putting any salt in, and my very specific reason for not putting any salt in is because I have no chicken broth or stock readily available. All I have is what's in my deep freeze, and I completely forgot to pull it out. So I'm going to have to be making some chicken broth with some bouillon cubes, and I know those are loaded down with salt, so I'm not going to be adding any salt in here, so I'm going to have to taste it as I go. Okay, so I'm hoping that I'm being conservative here, because that's what I'm wanting to be, is conservative with the seasoning, since I don't really know for sure. But I'm just gonna go to start with a half a teaspoon, and I actually measured out a half a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. And then I can't even find my 1/8 of a teaspoon measuring spoon, but I'm kind of trying to just do an 1/8 of a teaspoon of sage. So then I'm just going to give a good shake of pepper. I like pepper. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to mix all this up, and then I'm going to taste it. And so the Legos are in a bag, and I would bet that is my boy shaking that bag. Okay, so I have this mixed up, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a taste. It tastes good. I think it could use just a little bit more poultry seasoning. I'm going to do, again, this is what I'm calling an 1/8 of a teaspoon here, and I'm going to do just a little more pepper and get that mixed up. Sorry, the twins are just right here. I put them each here and gave them each a banana. Now I think I want to do a little bit more sage. I'm just going to add a tiny bit. I just got a really bready bite, so take another one. Yeah, that first bite that I took was like, on the entire spoon, there was like 2 larger pieces of bread like that. I think the flavoring tastes really good, so I'm going to leave it there for now and move on to our wet ingredients. Okay, so I have my wet ingredients here now. So I have 2 cups of chicken broth, which is what I'm going to start with, 1 raw egg, and my turkey that I just shredded up from the turkey that just came out of the oven, which tastes awesome, by the way. I have no idea how much turkey that is. I was just kind of estimating, like, I'm trying to stretch it, is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to stretch it to accommodate some other recipes that I have. You can put, obviously, as much or as little meat as you want to in here. You can put turkey or chicken. My me mama puts chicken in hers. My mom always did turkey, from what I remember. Of course, I probably wouldn't have noticed if it would have been chicken. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a mix and see what I think about it. Okay, y'all, so this isn't quite moist enough. It's still kind of dry. So I went ahead and got another cup of chicken broth. I tasted this because, again, I'm using bouillon cubes, right? And I went ahead and tasted it, and it's not very strong, so I'm going to go ahead and do that again. Otherwise, if it was super strong, I would just use water. So I'm just going to pour in... God, I'm just going to pour in all of it. I was thinking I would do half, but no, I think we need all of it. And we may even need some more. It's at least starting to make the sound that I would like it to make as I'm stirring it. I would really like for there to be a little bit more turkey in here, but I already have my turkey packaged up and put away in the fridge, and I am not going to get it out and out anymore. If I still had it sitting here, I would, but I think it's looking pretty good. Let's get another taste here. I think I overdid it just a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I just went and grabbed these breadcrumbs out of the cabinet. I'm going to sprinkle a few of these over the top because these are just plain breadcrumbs to tone it down a little bit. Now it's going to dry it out, so I might have to add some more liquid, and this time I will probably just do water. That way I'm not changing anything else. That's okay. You know what? You goof up, you fix it. I felt like I was doing so good up until then. And really, it's just, it still tastes really good to me. It's just, when I took, I don't know, I'm not really a very good taste tester. That's why I try not to do a lot of them. I mean, I can tell if I like something or not, but I'm not good at like telling, oh, this needs more this or this needs more that, because I'm just not the greatest at identifying different tastes other than, I like that, or no, I don't. But I will tell you what I thought of when I took that bite. When I took the last bite, I thought, oh wow, that makes me really thirsty. And so that kind of told me that it was a little too much. And actually, it doesn't seem like it dried it out much at all. But because I know this is going in the oven, I am gonna have it just a little bit soggier than this. So now let's try again. Yep, still. I'm going to add just a little bit more breadcrumb. Okay, so I'm working one-handed now because one of my kids on my hip now. Okay, so I did one more like sprinkle layer, just like you saw me do before, over the top of this with the dry breadcrumbs. And then I put in about a half a cup of water and then have mixed all of this up and tasted it. And you know, I've just decided that I think I just really love the taste of it. So yeah, it does kind of make me want to take a drink. But I don't think that matters. I think it tastes perfect. So now I need to add this egg. So now I've got one raw egg that I'm going to add. Ideally, I would be scraping this out. But again, I'm holding a kid. So we're just going to mix that in now. Okay, I got that mixed up. Smooth it out. Okay, so I know I had to go put her down, so she's probably going to cry. So I know you saw me smoothing it out, but I'm also going to smooth it down. And you can see how wet that is right there. And I think that's perfect. There we go. And I have my oven preheated right now at 350. And I'm going to put it in until this is nice and browned on top. We'll shoot for 30 minutes to start with. Okay, y'all. So it's 4:15 in the morning, and I just pulled this out. It actually ended up being in the oven for 50 minutes at 350, and then I turned the oven off and left it in for another 15 because I wasn't able to watch it anymore and I had to go tend to the kids, so that was the best I could do. And it is the perfect amount of hardness on the top, the way that I like it. So I'm gonna let it set for a little while and then I'm gonna try it. Okay, so my hope here, guys, is that I did not let this dry out too badly by leaving it in the oven so long. Oh, it feels really soft on the inside. Oh, it is, it's perfect. Check it out. So it's nice and hard on the top. Yes, but look up underneath there, how nice that is. It's perfect. Oh, I'm so happy it turned out good. Okay, so this recipe was obviously really important to me because my grandmother who made it passed away right before I was going into second grade, and then my mom, who continued to make it every year, twice a year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, passed away last year. So I'm happy that, I mean, really, I would have been grateful for it to just turn out edible. But I'm pleased that it tastes pretty good. So what you didn't see was my husband snuck in here and took a bite, and he said that it was perfect, so that makes me feel good. I will say that it looks nothing like the way that my mom's dressing looked. But I think it tastes a lot like it. I think it tastes a lot like it. I feel good about how it turned out. So I hope you try this, and thank you for watching, and I will see you in my video tomorrow.